January 3rd, 2026. A Ukrainian FPV drone detected a Russian soldier and pursued him. The Russian soldier began to flee from the drone into the forest. The FPV drone operator successfully targeted the Russian soldier by performing precise maneuvers between the trees. Russian soldiers walking in a large group on a road in the Donetsk region became the target of an FPV drone. The Ukrainian FPV drone detected the Russian soldiers and attacked them with its high explosives, detonating itself right in the middle of the Russian soldiers. Russian military units were spotted in the Pocrs region, and Ukrainian forces immediately launched an attack. Rapidly deployed attack drones caught the Russian units before they could reach their positions. The Russian forces, targeted en masse by the drones, suffered heavy losses. Look, the drone is rapidly launching an attack, and the Russian soldiers can't do anything. Look at the snow-covered frontline area. Russian soldiers are struggling to advance by vehicle, so they are trying to reach their positions on foot, which makes them an open target for the drones. Do you think Russian forces will be able to defend their positions under these difficult conditions? After the attack on the trench, the Russian soldier came out from inside and started to flee, but there was nowhere for him to hide in this place. A chase began between the drone and the Russian soldier. Before long, the Russian soldier fell to the ground while running, and the drone hit the soldier. A Russian soldier riding a motorcycle suddenly becomes the target of a drone attack. This is the Lyman region, and the Ukrainian Signum Battalion continues to maintain its control over the area. Every day, hundreds of drones prevent Russian forces from establishing a foothold in the region. Look at the attacks. Russian soldiers are unable to establish defensive positions. Russian forces conducting reconnaissance on the front line spotted a Russian soldier attempting to hide among the bushes. The Russian soldier, lying in the snow trying to camouflage himself, was unable to escape the drone approaching him. Did you see it? There it is. But why are Russian soldiers constantly wandering around alone on the front lines? Watch the current attack carefully. The Russian soldier who noticed the drone attacking sat still and waited. The soldier, who did not move even when the drone approached him, became the drone's target. But why did he remain motionless and wait? Russian forces continue to lose large numbers of soldiers in open terrain. Look at the Russian soldiers attacked by drones. Russian soldiers attacked in the Donetsk, Pocrs, Sumy, and Lyman regions are unable to escape the drones. It is striking that in most cases, they do not even have the opportunity to use their weapons. It is also clear that many soldiers do not have sufficient ammunition or even weapons. So why are Russian forces still inadequate on the front lines? Also, are these soldiers truly trained? Looking at the attacks, it's unclear what exactly the soldiers are doing or where they are going. A battle began between a Russian soldier and an FPV drone. The soldier, trying to escape being the drone's target, used a tree as cover. The FPV drone operator constantly maneuvered to find a suitable attack position. Despite all his efforts, the Russian soldier was unable to escape. Other Russian soldiers in the same area became targets in the same way. Russian soldiers are seen walking around the front lines on foot without vehicles in open terrain. This tactic makes them easy targets for drones. Look closely at the Russian soldier who was attacked. Fiber optic drone cables are wrapped around the soldier. The Ukrainian FPV drone first attacks a Russian trench. Did you see the soldier's backpack? It proves there is a soldier here. Look at the attacks that are about to happen. This is the Pocrs region. It is claimed that Russian forces have secured control of the area. However, the attacks clearly show that Russian forces are struggling to advance in the region and are suffering constant losses. Do you think Russian forces will be forced to withdraw from the Pocrs region during the winter? Another soldier wandering alone on the front line. The soldier, who stopped to rest and then continued walking, was unaware that he was being tracked by drones. The Russian soldier was followed by drones for a while longer. There, the fiber optic drone moved into position for the attack. As the drone rapidly approached its target, the Russian soldier heard its sound and began to panic. Not knowing what to do, the soldier tried to take position but still couldn't see where the drone was. The distance between the drone and the Russian soldier is closing. Since there are two drones, the Russian soldier cannot decide which one to target. He noticed the drone approaching at the last moment and started firing, but it was too late to escape. Attacks on Russian forces continued throughout the night. The drone's night vision systems are causing Russian soldiers to come under attack throughout the night. Moreover, they can barely detect the drones approaching. Look at the soldier caught by a drone lying in wait while escaping from another drone. A Russian soldier was hiding inside a building and was waiting behind the door, thinking the drone hadn't spotted him. This time, it detected a Russian soldier moving with a drone vehicle. Even though the Russian soldier noticed the drone, it was too late to escape. The attacks did not stop there. Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade identified Russian soldiers one by one in the Sumy region and launched relentless attacks. Not only infantry, but Russian military vehicles and equipment were also among the targets. You may not have seen the soldier sitting on the ground, but the FPV drone operator spotted the Russian soldier. A Ukrainian military FPV drone is searching for Russian units in the Pocrs region. Soon, a different vehicle appears on the drone's radar. It is an unmanned ground vehicle. Russian forces are now using these vehicles very frequently on the front lines. Look closely and you can see the automatic machine gun mounted on the vehicle. In another region, another Russian unmanned ground vehicle was also rendered inoperable. Another Russian soldier on a motorcycle was targeted like this by a Ukrainian FPV drone. Two Russian soldiers hiding in a building in an abandoned area were detected by reconnaissance drones. Ukrainian forces immediately launched an attack. A soldier who came under attack left his position and hid somewhere else. But even that wasn't enough to save him from these attacks. Two Russian soldiers, unaware they were being followed by a drone, entered a house. Russian soldiers now use such places for defense. Here comes the first attack. However, the operation did not end with this attack. Multiple Russian soldiers were spotted in the same location, and drone attacks began one after another. The drones arrived in succession, carrying high explosives, entered the buildings, and caused massive destruction. Every single house was destroyed by the drone attacks. This operation is being carried out to prevent Russian forces from establishing a permanent defense in the region. Russian soldiers are no longer in trenches, but are using abandoned locations as shelters and trenches. However, this has not been enough to stop Ukrainian forces' attacks. Ukrainian forces detected a large Russian unit in a wooded area. They immediately moved to attack the Russian soldiers whose positions had been revealed. Missile and artillery strikes began on the Russian soldiers positioned in the forest. Look at the intensity of the attack. Dozens of artillery shells began falling on the soldiers trapped in the forest. Look at the Russian soldiers who immediately hid among the trees to escape the drone attack. They were still detected by the drone. The outcome was inevitable. This time, the target of the attack is a Russian T-62 tank. The first drone attack causes serious damage to the tank, completely crippling its mobility. The second attack renders the tank completely ineffective. Russian forces are losing military vehicles in every sector of the front. Having suffered heavy losses in attacks throughout the week, Russian forces are now only attempting to defend their positions in the region. As can be seen, Ukrainian forces have launched an attack. The drone attacks by Ukrainian forces are not only targeting soldiers. These attacks are also targeting Russian military communication equipment. Left without communication on the front lines, Russian forces are trying to hold their ground in the region without any assistance. Russian forces are currently in a purely defensive position on the front lines. Russian forces, which have established defensive positions in the evacuated areas, are constantly facing Ukrainian attacks. Ukrainian forces are continuing their drone attacks without interruption to prevent Russian soldiers from establishing a stable defense in the region. The Russia-Ukraine war has been going on for years. What is the only realistic outcome?